Hi guys, Tyrynn here with my first ever build challenge, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of struggled with a lot. So this challenge was put on by RoryPlays. She was known as RoryPlays The Sims back in July, so you might notice that that was her handle at the time. If you guys haven't followed her, you need to. She is a phenomenal human being, and I was really excited that her challenge was one of my first. I believe this was her July challenge, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is also, like I said, the first time I've ever done a build challenge. So bear with me as I go through this, because as I rewatch it, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't upload this. But you know what? I'm sure a lot of people struggled on like their first couple, hopefully, builds. So this is just going to be my experience trying to make a beach-themed house. So I think the thing that I was most interested in like trying to capture as far as like a feel is this like retreat feel. So I picked a desert lot with like some waterfront to it because I thought it'd be kind of like exotic and beachy and stuff. And I'm not exactly sure that I captured that, but I tried. So we're just going to go with that. Also, my roof building skills when I first started playing The Sims 4, by the way, was horrible. Like, absolutely horrible. So, as you can tell right here that I'm, like, trying to figure out the best way to do this and make the roofs not look like crap. So, just, bear with me as I try to make this look like a halfway decent house. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with. Look at that. Tiny roof. Please tell me I didn't keep that. It's been a while. I might have kept it. If I did, please don't judge me too harshly. Looks like I did. Anyway, so I think the most challenging part of this for me was that the only thing that I really had to work off of were blueprints. There really wasn't much of a restriction, like we could use as many simoleons as we wanted, and that was a big challenge for me because I'm used to building with a restriction, and not having one, having such like an open palette, so to speak, is actually more challenging to me than if we just had, specific rules we had to follow. So the other challenging part for me is that this is probably the third or fourth build I've ever done where we don't have a family. Like, this isn't made specifically for a family. And I'm very much a player with The Sims. I'm not necessarily so much of a builder. So when I build houses, I tend to build them to fit a family's need. Also, I kind of think I messed up on the blueprints more than once, so you'll see like renovations here. But at the end of all of this, I'm pretty sure I did like the interior absolutely backwards. So we're going to pretend like I didn't, and you're just going to be like, oh wow, how great is it that the front door leads right into the future kitchen? I'm sure that's 100% intentional, because we're just going to go with it and pretend like it was. But low key, I'm pretty sure I did the whole thing backwards. Sorry, Rory. Anyway, so the kitchen was the area that I was actually the most excited about when I built this, which I would just like to add that I built this probably about 2 months ago or a month and a half ago. So now that I'm rewatching footage, which I almost didn't upload this video at all because I was so ashamed that I'm pretty sure I did the entire inside backwards. But I really, really wanted to support Rory, and I really liked the idea of building. So I figured, there's probably other people who struggled with this, right? Right, guys? Right, guys? Anyway, so you'll notice multiple times that I start making like closet spaces or I put things somewhere, and then I'm like, this isn't like at all how it should be. This is actually really awkward. Like, I really hope that I do this, but I'm pretty sure that like the fridge does not belong there. And I remember being like, this is such an awkward build. Like, who would have a fridge all the way in like a closet? And that's where I realized that I was an idiot. So there we go. Good job. Good job, Jen. But then I had this like nifty little space, and I was just like, so what do I do with this? And my most recent favorite thing to do with spaces like this is to make little built-in closets. And so I've been doing this a lot in like my legacy builds, but I make this little space like that where you do a little one opening and put some shelving in there. And then I usually put some kind of backing to like differentiate it from the rest of the room. But I actually really like it. I would also like to add at this point that this part was probably one of my favorite because I don't use wallpapers with designs almost ever. Like, almost ever. Most of my builds tend to be kind of modern or I don't want to say hip, but like kind of hip. And so having to use like wooden flooring that I wouldn't usually use and wallpaper that I wouldn't usually use, all of that was like kind of exciting for me. And these mason jar lights, by the way, are super freaking cute. I'm pretty sure they came with a pack recently, maybe the Parenthood pack. I can't remember exactly, but I loved them. And I remember seeing them in like a preview, and I was just so thrilled because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love mason jars. And no, I don't use them around my house, and no, I'm not a hipster. Are you a hipster if you like kind of want to be a hipster? Can you be a hipster if you want to be a hipster? Or like if you want to be a hipster, does that make you not hipster? Somebody let me know like what the hipster protocol is. Anyway, so I made a nifty little closet in here and decided that this is going to be, you know, like the back door going out of the kitchen, which again, I'm pretty sure is backwards. But anyway, I also pretty sure like I rotated this table around like 500 times because I wasn't sure how many people to build for. And I'm not going to lie, like my inspiration when I was building this was thinking about my grandparents who live down in Florida. And their house is, you know, very Florida based, and they've been there for so long that I was kind of like, how can I make this be kind of like my grandparents' house and have that like, we're going to go visit Nana and Grandpa, you know, on vacation while still keeping like kind of a cabin feel to it. So, also my cat just jumped up on my lap. Please don't interrupt my recording, cat. I really don't want to do this all over again. Anyway, I think the one thing that I'm actually kind of disappointed about, honestly, is that I really didn't do a lot of like clutter objects, and I don't think I really made it feel very well lived in. And I can't decide if that was by choice or not, because a vacation home, you don't necessarily want it to feel like super lived in, but at the same time, I don't think I did a really great job of making it really feel real, if that makes sense. So I did the best I could by just adding little bits of clutter and trying to make it as realistic as possible, but also stick with the theme, I guess, and not like over decorate, because I think a lot of people try to add too much stuff to a house and it starts feeling like that you tried to over decorate it. You know what I mean? Like I like to make Sims houses that are actually functional. So I never have to worry about like a Sims pathing trying to get to or from a bedroom. So, and for me personally, like I love books. I love that kind of clutter. So it wasn't too bad to like add some stuff to. But as you can see here, I spent a decent amount of time trying to make the closet not look super empty. Also, I'm pretty sure I put a lamp on that table. And I'm not quite sure I put a lamp on that, like why I put a lamp on that table, because there's literally a lamp right above the table. But we're just going to pretend like no one saw that, including myself. I think here I was kind of like confused as to how I should do spacing for the room, because like we have this nice dining room right here, but I also have like these counters and stuff. And so, like, what kind of information would you want on a wall at, like, a vacation house? And how would you really like to define a space when there's no real, like, living room? So, I don't know if... I think I go back and I add a couch, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So, we're just going to let that go for now. But here I am again with, like, those wallpapers that I was talking about, where I just really like that I was able to use wallpapers that I don't generally use when I play The Sims. And same with that flooring. Like, the flooring is actually really pretty, but I don't use them in my normal Sims house. I usually use one that's like further down the line and like a little bit more modern looking. So, and then I had the issue, I think with that bed specifically, about trying to find like a pattern that felt, okay, goodbye cat, that felt, okay, that was my cat. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen either. That felt like kind of resort-ish and not necessarily resort, but like cabin and vacation-ish, I guess you could say. I swear to goodness that my little bangle is going to be like the end of my first Sims recording in a while. But she's so cute, you guys. If you haven't seen her, like, sell out here, come check out my stream, because she's a cute little devil. See, look, so I got rid of that table, and I think my reasoning behind that was, A, that the closet was supposed to be out of this room and not out of the bedroom, and B, that I didn't really need the table if I had the counters with the benches on them. So that's when I was like, I really do need to make this more of a living room. Like, if I were to go away on vacation, I would like to have a little area to read and hang out and just relax, you know, like who goes on vacation just to sit at 5,000 different kinds of tables? So, I also think that this challenge was fun for me because it made me build in a way that I don't normally build. And I don't normally make little sitting areas like this. So for me, I was really excited to kind of like explore how I would decorate in situations like this. And honestly, I'm glad I got rid of that table with the lamp on it, with the lamp right above it, because who does that? Definitely not me. So anyway, now that I got that other closet, I imagine that would be like where I would put all of like my kids' sporting things, like, you know, those little plastic golf balls and like golf clubs. That's where I would put all that stuff. Exactly right there. Let's see. As far as the bedroom goes, I'm pretty sure I kept thinking about like hotel rooms in Florida that I've been to, where like the hotel rooms are like slightly outdated, so they have like those big art and wall paintings that you're just kind of like, all right, they probably bought 100 of those for like $10, you know what I mean, like wholesale. So that's why I put that painting over the bed, because that's exactly what that made me think of. All the other accessories, I just tried to kind of make kind of older themed. So like we have, you know, the hat and jacket and the little coat rack and stuff like that, because you don't really see those anymore. But again, I like the felt, and it's the same with this bathroom too. Like I did a clawfoot tub because I just wanted it to feel like you were visiting grandma and grandpa. And to me, that felt like old, but not like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like forgotten, if that makes sense. So I was pretty happy to, I also grew up with a clubfoot tub. So there's this part of me that was kind of like, this is your childhood, Jen. Use it. But like you can tell that most of the choices that I made here, maybe minus the mason jars, were kind of elderly, not elderly, but like old person inspired. One day, if I'm old, I want to have a really cool clawfoot tub. You know, who wouldn't? They're really big. And as a girl, can I just say that one of my like dreams in life is to have a bathtub that covers my boobs and my butt when I'm underwater. Can I please get an amen in chat about that, or the comments below? See, look it. Can you tell the streamer part of me is coming out like in the chat? Can I please get some hearts? So yeah, and also this is kind of my default for when I do any kind of decorating outside, is that I tend to do these rocks and then just fill them full of like plant life and stuff. And I'm not really good at landscaping. I'm not gonna lie. And considering we're in like a desert, I don't even know why I necessarily put like actual thriving plants, because in hindsight, why would you have actual thriving plants in the desert? You know, like, where were you thinking? But anyway, like I said, everybody has to start somewhere. And this was definitely a start for me with build challenges. So hopefully you guys can forgive my mistakes, because they are plenty. We are nearing the end of the video. I can see I have about a minute left. So I would just really like to say thank you to Rory for making this challenge and making it something that kind of brought me outside of my comfort zone, because I obviously struggled right here. This is not my typical build. Like, this is not the typical thing that I am good at. So it was kind of fun to push my, I don't want to say skills, because really there's not a whole lot of skill here, but just to push my, my building style and add some things that felt fitting here, but didn't feel like forced. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully this place made you guys think of Grandma and Grandpa's cavern. We're just gonna go with the word cavern. That's a new word of the day. And that you guys can forgive my multiple mistakes, and hopefully watch next time I make a build challenge. So thank you guys very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please let me know, comments down below, what you think. Thanks.